Securing Vault Azure Auth is crucial for protecting sensitive data and ensuring the integrity of your infrastructure. This comprehensive guide will walk you through the process step by step. First, understand the basics of Vault and Azure Auth. Vault is a secrets management tool that securely stores and manages sensitive data, while Azure Auth is a method of authenticating with Azure services. To secure Vault Azure Auth, you need to configure the Azure Auth backend in Vault. Start by enabling the Azure Auth backend in Vault. This is done by running a command that enables the backend and specifies the Azure Tenant ID and Client ID. Next, configure the Azure Auth backend by specifying the resource and audience. The resource should be set to the Azure service you want to authenticate with, and the audience should be set to the client ID of your Azure application registration. Once the Azure Auth backend is configured, you need to create a role in Vault that maps to an Azure group or service principal. This role will define the permissions and policies that are applied to the Azure entity. To create a role, run a command that specifies the role name, Azure group or service principal, and the policies that are applied to the role. After creating the role, you need to configure the Azure application registration to use the Vault Azure Auth backend. This is done by specifying the client ID and client secret of your Azure application registration, as well as the tenant ID and resource. You also need to configure the Azure service principal to use the Vault Azure Auth backend. Best practices for securing Vault Azure Auth include using a secure method of storing and managing client secrets, such as using a secrets management tool like Vault. You should also limit the permissions and policies that are applied to the Azure entity, and regularly review and update the configuration to ensure it remains secure. In addition, you should use a secure method of authenticating with Azure services, such as using Azure Managed Identities or Service Principals. You should also monitor and audit all authentication requests to detect and respond to any security incidents. By following these steps and best practices, you can ensure that your Vault Azure Auth is secure and protected from unauthorized access. Regularly review and update your configuration to ensure it remains secure and aligned with your organization's security policies.